Legend has it that in the world there are some people who have superpowers and can mobilize the energy of the universe and create miraculous changes. The source that enables these people to generate supernatural powers is called qi. In fact, there is qi in everyone's body, which makes people generate souls, form self-consciousness, and experience birth, old age, sickness, and death. Then the cycle starts all over again. But only a few people can master and manipulate the power of qi, thus possessing supernatural powers and even becoming immortal. Such people are called Yi Ren, literally weirdos. The hero Zhang Chulan is one of them. However, he has no idea about it and has been hiding his abilities, living the same life as ordinary people. One day, something strange happens in the village where Zhang Chulan lives since childhood, and all the graves in the village have been dug up. Officer Song suspects that someone has come to rob graves. But this is just an ordinary small village where there is nothing worth stealing at all. At the same time, another police officer finds that the body in one of the graves is missing, and the name of Zhang Shilin is written on the tombstone. Officer Song frowns. He knows that once Zhang's family is involved, it's not that simple. Just then, a girl named Fang Baobao suddenly appears, claiming that she is Zhang Shilen's granddaughter. But Officer Song is well aware that Zhang Shilen has only one grandson, Zhang Chulan, for years. After Zhang Chulan gets the news and rushes to the police station, Officer Song tells him about Fang Baobao. There are 3 men in the Zhangs, including Zhang Shilin, his son Zhang Yud, and his grandson Zhang Chulan. When Zhang Chulan was 7 years old, Zhang Shilin was killed in the mountain. A year later, Zhang Yud sends Zhang Chulan to an orphanage, and since then, no one has seen or heard from Zhang Yud. Fang Baobao is his illegitimate daughter. After investigation, Officer Song confirms that Fang Baobao is indeed Zhang Shilen's granddaughter. Zhang Chulan is very shocked to have a sister inexplicably, but the top priority is to go to Grandpa's grave first. When he comes to the scene, he sees someone digging there who is none other than the mysterious Fang Baobao. Then Zhang Chulan is hit by a stick and falls fainting. When he wakes up, Fang Baobao is ready to drag him to an empty grave to bury him. Looking at the crazy and strange woman, Zhang Chulan suddenly realizes that she must be his sister who suddenly appears. But then Fang Baobao tells him that her identity is fake. Zhang Chulan has no choice but to cry and beg Fang Baobao to spare his life. At this moment, a weird thing happens, and the corpses in the surrounding graves turn into zombies and crawl out. Facing such a terrifying scene, Fang Baobao is very calm and picks up a kitchen knife to fight her way out, leaving Zhang Chulan screaming there. At this time, a man named Shu San has already been waiting at the exit. It turns out that Fang Baobao is sent by Shu San to find Zhang Shilin's body. Knowing that Zhang Chulan is thrown into the zombie pile by Fang Baobao, Shu San is very anxious. What they do cannot involve ordinary people. But Fang Baobao promises that Zhang Chulan will not die. Several lightning bolts zigzag across the sky not far away. When Shu San and Fang Baobao rush over to check what happened, the surrounding zombies have been scorched, and Zhang Chulan disappears. Shu San picks up Zhang Chulan's student ID card on the ground and seems to know something. Since he is Zhang Shilin's grandson, Zhang Chulan could also be Yi Ren, like them. After returning to school, Zhang Chulan is still at a loss for the trace of his father and the death of his grandfather. At this moment, Fang Baobao appears again, but this time she doesn't come to kill Zhang Chulan, but to study. From this moment on, the wheel of fate turns and Zhang Chulan's destiny starts to go in a different direction. Zhang Chulan is completely stunned. A person who dug his grandfather's grave and wanted to kill him at midnight is going to be his classmate now. After class, Zhang Chulan immediately warns her. He will not say anything about what happened that night, and he doesn't want to cause any trouble, so he hopes Fang Baobao won't push him too far. But Fang Baobao doesn't take Zhang Chulan's words seriously at all. Ignoring the angry Zhang Chulan, Fang Baobao directly points out the fact that he is Yi Ren with superpowers. The reason why she wanted to bury Zhang Chulan alive that day is to force Zhang Chulan to use his power. Then, Fang Baobao takes out her knife and tries to slash Zhang Chulan, which reminds Zhang Chulan of his childhood. Both his grandfather and father had repeatedly warned him to not show his powers. But Zhang Chulan didn't understand it when he was a child and caused a lot of trouble. And every time he showed his power, they had to move. Zhang Chulan didn't understand why they had to do so, and his grandfather and father never told him the reason. In order to practice martial arts, Zhang Chulan was often beat up by his serious father. After so much suffering, Zhang Chulan felt aggrieved as his kung fu couldn't be shown in front of others. But to protect him, his grandfather and father had no choice but to do so. They were afraid that once the superpowers were exposed, they would be chased and even killed. But when he is in danger, especially when facing people who have superpowers as well, Zhang Chulan is allowed to exert his superpowers. With his wandering mind back into the present, Zhang Chulan begins to exert his kung fu. A brilliant flash of gold emits from his body, which could both protect his body and hurt others. At the same time, Zhang Xilin's body has been sent to a man named Liang. Liang wants to draw energy up from Zhang Xilin's body, but fails. Just as he expected, Liang is not too disappointed. Zhang Xilin has been dead for many years, and there are still soul fragments of residual powers in his body, which shows how remarkable he was. But in this situation, it is obviously impossible for Liang to get what he wants from Zhang Xilin's body. So, Liang assigns the person who brought Zhang Xilin's body there to take Zhang Chulan back, regardless of alive or dead. On the other side, the golden light around Zhang Chulan has been broken by Fang Baobao, which stuns him. Otherwise, Fang Baobao is clear about Zhang Chulan's secret, so Zhang Chulan has no choice but to work for her. Back in the dormitory, Zhang Chulan, lying on the bed, is extremely depressed. Almost nothing good happens recently. Suddenly, the phone screen lights up. There is a message from a beautiful girl named Yan, who is his schoolmate but junior to him. She claims that she has admired Zhang Chulan for a long time and requests to meet him the next day. At this moment, Grandpa's words pop into his mind. Life has its ups and downs. If you think you are at your lowest right now, your turning point is coming. Zhang Chulan thinks that good luck is around the corner. However, the next day, Fang Baobao asks Zhang Chulan to meet someone with her at night. Forced by Fang Baobao, Zhang Chulan has to agree outwardly. In the evening, he immediately turns off his mobile phone and goes on a date with Yan. But what Zhang Chulan doesn't expect is that the mobile phone Fang Baobao gives him is a specially modified one. Even if he turns off the phone, Fang Baobao can still get his location. When having dinner together, Yan makes no secret of her love for Zhang Chulan. The two get on well. The dusk shades into midnight while they are chatting. At this time, the school is closed, so Yan proposes to let Zhang Chulan go to the apartments she rents. But it wasn't until Zhang Chulan arrives at her apartment that Zhang Chulan finally realized that something was wrong. When the two are about to be intimate, the mark of being a virgin in Zhang Chulan's body reacted. There is a seal in his body. If someone is not true love for him, the mark will resist the person to torch the sealed spot. So Yan stops concealing her real purpose. She summons a few zombies to surround Zhang Chulan. Zhang Chulan finally realizes that she was the one who summoned zombies to attack him in the graveyard that day. Zhang Chulan wants to exert the golden light in his body to fight back, but Yan has secretly put a legendary venomous insect in his body, which makes him unable to use his superpower. At the same time, Fang Baobao and Shu San are already on their way. According to reliable sources, many Quan Shim members have sneaked into the city recently. They steal Zhang Xilin's body and control the zombies to appear in the graveyard that night. On the other side, Zhang Chulan has been brought to Liang by Yan. It turns out that Liang is one member of the Quan Xin group, and Yan is a corpse chaser. She did this just to join Liang's team. These Quan Xing members do things without rules and can even use their power without restraint. They will stop at nothing to achieve their aims. Looking at Zhang Chulan, Liang uses his kung fu to get a connection with Zhang Chulan's soul. He activates his superpower and tries to control Zhang Chulan's memory. Fortunately, Shu San and Fang Baobao appear in time to save Zhang Chulan, who is screaming in pain.